Bwala, the special advisor to President Bola Tinubu on public communication, is having a time of his life. Using taxpayers' money, he has been traveling all over the world, selling the message that there is no Christian genocide in Nigeria. Obviously enjoying himself. This is a very big opportunity for him to enjoy his office. And one of his stopover is with Russian television, the English language section of the Russian television, which is a government-sponsored television. It's no different from Nigerians NTA, Nigerian Television Authority. That's what Russian television is. Bwala went there, had an interview with them, a live interview, in which he rehearsed his old story that the United States government declaration of Nigeria as a country of particular concern relied on information from the Indigenous People of Biafra, and that the US government doesn't know any better, and that if they know any better, they could not have relied on two sources, according to him, that are influenced by IPOB. But we're going to knock all those his presentation down. You're going to see, we'll destroy them one after the other, the argument he made. After you watch this video, when you come back, we'll talk. Just watch.
Daniel Bwala, Special Advisor to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu on policy communication. Daniel, a very warm welcome to you. Thank you so much for joining us here on RT today. It's great to have you on the program.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much, sir. I'm just going to cut to the chase with you very quickly here. When it comes to suddenly finding yourself on the crosshairs of the Trump administration, you may be Ukraine, you may be Venezuela, you may be Gaza, you may be Syria. Oh, guess what? Now you may be Nigeria. The US president threatening to deploy American troops to your country. What is your nation's response, please, Daniel?
We try our best to downplay the rhetoric because we know for sure that can be the reflection of the realities on ground. The decision of President Trump is anchored on the various tweets and pushes by congressmen. And the congressmen rely on a data and report that were submitted by a separatist group in Nigeria called the IPOB. That there's a genocide of Christians in Nigeria, which is false, because all intelligence and non-governmental organizations that carry out their research and data about killings in Nigeria, none but these two that have affiliation with IPOB that indicated that there is a Christian genocide. In fact, even the content of the data contradict that. For example, the Inter-Society Civil Liberties and Human Rights that produced that report tried to allege that the killings of IPOB separatist group in the southeastern Nigeria were conducted by the Nigerian forces, and that the killing of even the citizens of the southeast were conducted by the Nigerian forces under the pretext that because the people in the southeast have Jewish history and tradition. And it is very unfortunate. The second report, which is by Observatory for Religious Freedom in Africa, in their own report, they admitted that there have been more killings of people who have not identified as Christians or Muslims. They are followed by the killings of Christians, and thirdly, by the killings of the Muslims. But they concluded that these killings were conducted by Fulani militia, meaning that they kill Christians, they kill Muslims, and they kill non-Christians and non-Muslims. Yeah. How can you write a report like that and also conclude that there is a genocide of one of them?
Yeah, I mean, I was just reading your interview with the BBC recently, and they were saying that there are various groups that are monitoring the violence. They say there's no evidence to suggest the Christians are being killed more than the Muslims in Nigeria, as you are saying, it's roughly evenly divided, I guess, between followers of both religions. In fact, you know what, going back to this interview with the BBC, by the way, you were in this interview, they said that Claims of a genocide against Nigeria's Christians have been circulating in recent weeks and months in some right-wing American circles. How would you break down those last words I just said?
I quite agree, and let me tell you further. In fact, there is this investigative report that was conducted 2 weeks ago in Nigeria that suggested that that hoax, that narrative, was amplified by the separatist group called the IPOB since 2016, that there is a Christian genocide and that the genocide is against them because they have a Jewish tradition. But the amplification now affected the people of the right wing of the Republican Party in the United States, which was pushed by Senator Ted Cruz and followed by Riley Moore. These are senators who have lost the favor and favor with the MAGA base because they were considered and are still considered as people that have pandered so much to the APAC and the APAC back agenda. So they are trying to reinvent themselves. That is why they now found a good distraction in Nigeria. That's what
that was Daniel Bwala, special advisor to President Bola Tinubu on policy communication, repeating the same story he has been going about all over the world, saying that it is IPOB influenced two organizations that Donald Trump is relying on or relied upon to redesignate Nigeria a country of particular concern and threatening to take military action in Nigeria if the boss of Daniel Bwala did not take care of the terrorists killing Christians in Nigeria. Now, first of all, let me demolish the first aspect of his claim. The two organizations he said are affiliated to IPOB. They are not affiliated to IPOB. In fact, because the Inter-Society, one of the NGOs that he said affiliated to IPOB, is located, its headquarters in Sinonisha, doesn't make it an affiliate of IPOB. If you know the history of Inter-Society, Inter-Society had been in existence even before Nnamdi Kanu formed IPOB. So this is not an organization that just started yesterday. When did Nnamdi Kanu form IPOB compared to when Inter-Society was formed? So that's a lie, linking Inter-Society. Okay, but I think Inter-Society is just keeping quiet instead of coming out to be defending themselves from all this propaganda of linking them to IPOB. Okay. Now let us assume, without conceding, that because Inter-Society is headquartered in Onitsha, that maybe they are sympathetic to the IPOB agitation. Let us assume, without conceding. What about the Observatory for Religious Freedom in Africa? How does Observatory for Religious Freedom in Africa, how does that body, how is it linked with IPOB? In what way? Because the Observatory for Religious Freedom in Africa, the headquarters is in Netherlands, in Europe, Netherlands. There was nothing, no indication whatsoever that it has anything to do with any Nigerian. Talk more of being an affiliate of IPOB, a separatist organization. Okay, and it's because these interviews he has been granting, look like an RNG interview where they just softball questions are asked. Nobody asks him this difficult question. They just pander to him. So he says anything. They don't fact check him. They just keep on running around. And you know that Russian television is a propaganda machine of the Russian government. So it's just like somebody granting an interview to NTA. You know, NTA will follow the rule as directed, not to offend the government. Okay. So that is that. The Observatory for Religious Freedom in Africa is a Netherlands-based organization with headquarters in Netherlands. But from there, it monitors killings across Africa that are linked to religion and ethnicity. And its record is highly regarded around the world. Even when this issue of Christian genocide was discussed at the House of Commons in London, UK, it was this organization, Observatory for Religious Freedom in Africa. They use their data because they are reliable. That takes care of that one. Then you see he now brought up the issue of the cable news. He said there was an investigation that was done in Nigeria that said that this issue of Christian genocide started in 2016 and that it was linked to IPOB. He was talking about the so-called investigation report by the cable newspaper, which we demolished it here. Cable newspaper, online newspaper, claimed that he did investigation and found out that through open source, it's an open source investigation that showed that it was the affiliates of IPOB that started the issue of Christian genocide in 2016. And the only open source they used was, embarrassingly, only X, formerly known as Twitter. Now, when you do investigation using open source means that you have access to all the unclassified documents. At least you can use information from Facebook when you are talking about open source. Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, X, what have you, all these social media platforms. It means you have information from all of them. And you also have information from published newspaper reports, researches, government papers that are public, that are not classified. These are what they call open source. And that's what the cable said they did. But how can you, in the 21st century, you say you did open source investigation? You open source. And the only credible source you can cite was just Twitter or X. Is it not an embarrassment? So you use Twitter and then you conclude. And if I'm your project supervisor, as your lecturer, I will send you out of my office if you come and give me that kind of report. I sent you to go and do report to find out how did this issue of Christian genocide, when did they start? And then you run around, after running around, you come and write a paper and bring to me. Of all these open sources in the world, it's only one. And that's why Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie talked about the danger of a single story. That should have guided anybody who's doing any research, that you can't get the true picture by just listening through a single story. And that narrative, which seems to be a research hurriedly put together for the government of Nigeria, was what he was trumpeting to the Russian television, Russia Today or Russia Television. It's popularly, this television station he talked to is known as Russia Today, but it's popularly known as Russia Television, RT. So you tell them all this, and you know that they're not going to investigate. They're not going to ask you any question. You just throw it out there. He said there was an investigation. And you think, what is that investigation? Cable news investigation. And where did they get the information from? Twitter. Only Twitter. That's an embarrassment for any scholar to even use that as a reference point to show that IPOB is linked to the Christian genocide. He should go and ask the thousands of Nigerians. He should go and ask Bishop Wilfred Anabai, who took his people's matter, his congregation's matter, to the U.S. Congress. You should go and ask several other people that have made presentation. You should go and ask others. Go open doors. There are so many sources that they get information about killings in Nigeria. Okay, the idea of Christian genocide cannot start from IPOB. That's a lazy man's interpretation of what is going on in Nigeria. And it's also, you think that American politicians are lazy like Nigerian politicians. He said that Ted Cruz, Riley Moore, and all these people, even Donald Trump, it's only one source. These two sources, IPOB related affiliated source. And you think you have more information than the American president? You have more information than American senators? Is that what he has telling me? Americans don't have embassy in Nigeria. They don't get file reports on a daily basis to Washington on what is going on in Nigeria. So you think it's inter-society only they rely on to get information, as they are planning to storm Nigeria if they decide, if Nigeria doesn't take action to stop the killings. You think that they are going to rely on inter-society to be able to know what to do and where to go, where to drop their bomb, and who to catch and who not to catch? You know, it makes the whole thing look childish. Okay. By now, what I expect them to be doing is to dousing the tension, telling Americans that they are ready to work with them to handle the insecurity, to address the issue. It's not to grandstand and claim that those people don't know what they are doing. Okay, they don't know what they are doing, but they are giving you money. They don't know what they are doing. They are giving you training. Most of the military officers, even those on the field today, trying to contain this insurgency, they have received one training or the other. Go and look at the resume of even the service chiefs of Nigeria today. Many of them were trained in the United States. So what are we talking about? That they don't have information, and Daniel Bwala know better than them. Does it really make sense? I don't know what you think about Daniel Bwala's interview trying to link IPOB to Christian genocide, which is even an insult to all the communities across Nigeria that have been set out of their ancestral homes as a result of this insurgency. To suggest that it is IPOB that is doing that, bringing their matter to international attention. It's an insult. It's an insult to those who have been pushing for this for so long. That's my take. I don't know what to think about Daniel Bwala's desperate effort to link IPOB to the genocide, Christian genocide allegation in Nigeria. But whatever is your position, let's hear from you at the comment section. Thank you for watching this video. And if you are new to my channel, you have not yet subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to my channel. Hit the subscription button, hit the notification bell. When you subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell, anytime I have a new video, you'll be among the first to know. God bless you. And please don't forget to like this video, because when you like it, God will rank it high and recommend it for more people. Thank you, and God bless you and yours.